Hello and welcome back to another in-depth other video. Today we're going to be going in-depth into Invest 95L, but first we're going to go through the National Weather Service page, the satellite imagery, and the radar. But if you like this video, you should like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell, and let's jump right on into it. So we still have this storm moving through the northwest. This will be dumping snow, and we do have winter storm warnings in place, winter weather advisories, winter storm watches moving from Washington all the way to Nebraska. We also have freeze watches and warnings all the way from Nebraska, Iowa, and Missouri to Texas. So the cold air is moving in, and that'll affect what happens in the future. But if you want to see that, more of that in my last video, which I will link in the cards above. Now, let's move on here to the satellite imagery. So, you can see Epsilon over here, still a hurricane. You can also see that system moving through, that is dumping snow. You also see a cold front here, that is the root of that freeze warning and watch. And then, if we scroll down here, this is our focus for today, 95L. This has a 70% chance of becoming a tropical depression. Now let's move on to the radar. So basically the same thing. You have heavy snow in the northwest over here, and you have this line of showers and thunderstorms moving through the east, and in the future here we're going to see that move into the east coast. Now moving on to the National Hurricane Center. So we still have Epsilon, winds of 80 miles an hour, still Category 1 hurricane, 972 millibar minimum central pressure, and moving north at 13 miles an hour. But we have this disturbance here, which has 70% chance of cyclone formation in 48 hours. Satellite images and surface observations indicate that the broad area of low pressure located just west of Grand Cayman Island continues to show signs of organization. Environmental conditions appear conducive for further development, and a tropical depression will likely form during the next day or two while the low drifts toward the northwest. This system could move near western Cuba by Sunday and move slowly across the southeastern Gulf of Mexico by early next week. Interests in western Cuba, the Florida Keys, and southern Florida should monitor the progress of this disturbance. Regardless of development, locally heavy rainfall will be possible over portions of the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Cuba, southern Florida, Florida Keys, and the northwestern Bahamas through the weekend. So that is the general gist here. If we go to the 5-day tropical weather outlook, you can see this shaded area here is that development zone. So you can see most of Cuba, at least the western part of Cuba, is in that shaded area, parts of the Florida Keys as well. So we have a larger range for this thing to develop, and it's going to move into the Gulf. And honestly, that's kind of a bad sign, because we've seen so many storms rapidly intensify in the Gulf over the past few years. That is a recipe for disaster. But let's move on here to the current storm information. Global and hurricane models, not many, and most of them are all over the place, but generally we're seeing this moving north, could hit South Florida, could hit the Florida Panhandle, or it can go even further into the Gulf. GFS ensembles kind of have things all over the place as well, but the general path here shows it kind of moving through this gap here into the Gulf of Mexico and kind of hitting in a spot just to the west of where Hurricane Michael hit a few years ago. So definitely have to see if that's right. That would be very, very interesting to see. Now with the GEPS, we don't have that much information, but this has it going across Cuba, which might weaken the storm a little bit more. If it does go over Cuba, we saw that with Irma, where it weakened the storm just a bit, and that could be good. But we have the intensity guidance. This is what we really want to see here right now, and most of these models show becoming a tropical storm. Now, looking at the positive here, none of them show it becoming a Category 1 hurricane, and the highest one here, which I believe, oh, that is jumbled up, but it's about 50 to 60 knots. So, looking on the positive side here, that's better than like a Category 1 or a Category 2 hurricane. Now, moving on here to the forecast models, we are going to move to the tropics here, and we're going to watch this right here. So, you can see it kind of stalls out there, really doesn't do much, but if we go back here, we can always see a different story. So, that kind of dissipates, but maybe forms out here possibly. Another disturbance here that really doesn't do much. Now you have this system right here that moves through and really doesn't do much, and then you have this right here. So the GFS has been really spotty with these storms. I think that something's definitely going to develop out of 95L. If it's not a tropical depression, then a tropical storm. I just think there's something that's going to happen there. I was looking through my videos in the Atlantic tropical cyclones playlist, and we've only had one storm that became a tropical depression and didn't move on to become a tropical storm. And I believe that's TD10. So, most likely, if this becomes a tropical depression, it's becoming a tropical storm. So, with that, that's all I have for today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.